This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. A trailer flips off a busy freeway, trapping a helpless horse inside.
Their first instinct is to run. And when they can't, they panic.
Join paramedics and veterinarians in their struggle to beat the clock and save a life. Then, a stray soft bull
You could actually hear the ball hit Nikki.
threatens a young girl's life.
Her future was staring her right in the eyes, and she wasn't looking back.
On Rescue 911.
When a life is in our hands, we don't get any second chances. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of courage under pressure and the men, women, and children who rise to the occasion on Rescue 911. We begin on January 27th, 1992, in Chesterland, Ohio, after two champion horses had just run their last races of the season.
That's your step.
I've had her longer than any other horse we've ever had, and I don't know why. She just always was that special one. She ended up making almost $100,000 for me this year that just ended.
The filly, Setting Limits, and a colt were being taken to a farm for the winter by trainer Pat Mahoney.
Some race horses are very congenial. You can load them on with no problem. Some you have to actually give a little tranquilizer to. In this particular case, initially loading them wasn't real easy.
Susan Flores and her husband were traveling behind the trailer.
It was obvious to us that the horse trailer was going slower than everyone else because everyone was shooting past it.
There are times, I suppose, when they shift their weight, the trailer will sway a little bit. And that is probably not the safest way of transporting a horse.
The horse trailer started going left to right. Then at this point, we are now getting excited. I couldn't believe it. It was just like a slow motion movie. I was scared to death.
I see the trailer, of course, turned over, and one horse really struggling to get out. And at that time, I didn't know really what to do. I didn't want to let the horse loose for fear it would go in the traffic. I didn't want to keep it in there because I knew they were hurting each other.
Setting Limits was pinned underneath the colt.
That horse was trying to sidestep the other horse, not trying to hurt it, but it was so scared that it was just boom, 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 boom on top of this other horse, and every time it would hit the horse's face, that horse would scream. The sights and the sounds were just unreal.
When we continue,
This filly was just flat out panicked, and many well-meaning people have been killed by horses that are in panic situations.
When a trailer transporting two racehorses flipped over on a busy freeway, injuring one animal seriously, several concerned motorists used their car phones to call for help. Much of the footage was taped as the events unfolded.
rescue units from the Independence Fire and Police Departments were sent to the scene.
All right, watch out, man. Watch out. Scared, man. Watch your back, man. Oh.
And all of a sudden, the horse just took off right down the median. And what's going through your mind then is, what's going to happen? Is this horse going to go in the street, hit a car, kill somebody? That can't happen.
A mile down the interstate, they finally caught the colt. 6 minutes after the call, rescue units arrived. including firefighter-paramedic Frank Krasuski. Setting Limits was still trapped in the wrecked trailer.
It was a cold night. The only way to get the horse out would be to cut it out. We had the equipment all at the scene to rip that trailer right in half, but what to do with the horse afterwards, we didn't know what to do. We decided against that decision, and we decided to wait for the veterinarian to come.
It was a nasty scene. The horse was struggling to get out and obviously hurting itself even more.
Now he's bleeding all like hell on the kneecap on the front.
With racehorses, the main thing, of course, you're concerned about are the legs, and you could see there's quite a bit of blood on the legs. Plus all the kicking of the trailer there, they could have done an extensive damage, because they can just kick a stall, kick a board, kick something, and end a career.
Veterinarians Dan Wilson and David Miller, who specialize in treating horses, arrived within 30 minutes.
When they're in danger, their first instinct is to run. And when they can't, they panic. This filly was locked in there and she wasn't going anywhere.
Knew we had to get her out of the trailer so we can assess her health and see if it was worth trying to save her or if she was a dead horse. When they started sawing, hot sparks would fly and every once in a while hit the horse.
This filly was just flat out panicked and approaching exhaustion, but many well-meaning people have been killed by horses that are in a panic situation.
That leg's trapped in a piece of metal up front.
I crawled inside the trailer and tried to get her foot out of this hay rack, and then she collapsed. She just had all she could take.
I didn't know where all the blood was coming from, but he had blood all over his neck and blood all over the trailer.
We couldn't see her front legs very well, and we couldn't see her down right leg at all. So if it was smashed, then obviously her chances were very grave.
We gave her no tranquilizers because we didn't want to depress her any more than she already was. And basically we instituted some potent short-acting steroids to try and reverse the shock situation.
Yeah, they pulled her out, the head was bleeding severely. I thought, you know, just hope the horse pulls through, let alone ever race again.
The horse came out, and immediately it didn't want to get up. So it laid on its side on the cold snow and on the muddy ground. It lost a lot of blood, and with a loss of blood like that, the horse was in danger of dying.
She was in shock, and so we made the decision to, instead of trying to get her off the highway, to start treating her right there.
Dr. Miller immediately began surgery to try to repair a severed artery above the filly's left eye.
His assistant started an IV in the horse's neck, and he said, just hold pressure and push it in as fast as you can. We're not used to pushing so much fluid into a human. They just don't teach us veterinary medicine in paramedic school. It was amazing to see that the veterinarian could work under such conditions. It wasn't like an emergency room hospital. He was on his knees, the horse was down on the ground, it was cold, and it was a very uncomfortable position. The man was really good.
I was trying to hold her on the ground. I eased off a little bit. She just kind of pitched me around like a peanut there.
I just didn't expect the horse to get up so quickly.
You got a cooler for her, a blanket or something?
That was a great sign for her. She was strong and ready to go. And once she stood up, she never looked back.
You got one for the other side, Dave? Not
I'm starting to think, you know, maybe it's not as tragic as it all seemed that it would be, and maybe there could be a happy ending.
To me, the most amazing thing is these animals will walk back in another trailer. I don't know if they can reason, but they surely can trust. They're kind. I love them. The paramedics and firemen that were there were absolutely great. They're the ones who really deserve the credit for saving these fillies and the colt.
Soon after the accident, Setting Limits began rehabilitation. But her owner, Shirley Girton, knew her future was still uncertain.
I didn't know how she'd ever be able to recover from this fully enough to be a racehorse, and that's basically what she was put out here to do. And I guess I'm not known as a quitter, and she certainly isn't.
Despite all odds, on September 26, 1992, 8 months after the accident, Setting Limits returned to the track.
And they're off. For between horses, Foolish Ginger on the outside Archdale Road with good speed from the opening bell. There goes Zoop-Oop-a-Doo.
She overcome everything we asked her to overcome. She'd go out there and run her heart out.
The final furlong for Setting Limits. She's in front by 4. We're coming down to the line. They won't get to Setting Limits. Setting Limits balanced on by 3.5 lengths.
She went out in style. She went out winning, and she left just as happy as the day that she came in. So she had a big smile on her face.
Girl, Setting Limits. She looks pretty good, I think, Mom.
It's amazing that she came back, even just to win one more race.
You sure took a spill, silly girl.
She'll be going to be a broodmare. She's gonna go have babies now. So, well-deserved babies, I hope, that they shall be the runners and carry the heart and stamina that she carried. She's a good girl.
Next.
I've seen a lot of epileptic seizures, and you just think, you know, they're going to have this seizure and relax, and then I don't think anybody realized just how bad it was.
Hey, somebody get an ambulance, please.
On May 8th, 1992, in Hickory, Pennsylvania, the Langhurst Hickory trucking team was scheduled to play the Print Box team in the local girls' softball league. 14-year-old Nikki Oliver was waiting to watch the game with her friend Marty Camden.
Nikki and I were standing next to the field, talking just about school and everything. Nikki couldn't play because she sprained her ankle a couple weeks earlier, and she's been on crutches.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, hey!
It sounded like she got hit in the teeth because of the way it cracked. But it really hit her glasses and the side of her head, her temple.
You could hear it. You could actually hear the ball hit Nikki, and I had to be 30 feet away from her.
Gloria Buckles, a registered nurse, was one of the mothers watching the game.
She seemed perfectly fine, so I kind of sat back, and the coach took care of her.
We've had kids got hit before, and it was like no big deal, because at that age group, there's always somebody with a knee or a finger or something. So we wasn't real bad concerned at all.
She seemed glassy-eyed, where I started to think that, no, she wasn't alert, or something was starting to happen with her. So that's why I went to get my flashlight.
The coach asked his wife, Jackie Jankowski, to keep an eye on the young girl.
Nikki, are you okay? I started to check her pupils to see if they dilated with a flashlight, which they didn't. They were very pinpoint, non-reactive.
Gloria went to call Nikki's mother so she could take her daughter to the hospital.
She was sitting there real quiet, And then she turned to me and she says, "Jackie, something's happening." That was her exact words, "Jackie, something's happening." And I said, "Wait a minute, honey, the coaches are coming." And her left arm started to twitch. I've seen a lot of epileptic seizures, and you just think, they're going to have this seizure and relax, and then I don't think anybody realized just how bad it was.
Hey, somebody get an ambulance, please. Now.
To get help, someone drove to the Mount Pleasant Township Volunteer Fire Station, 2 blocks away.
The seizure lasted approximately 6 to 7 minutes. And when I realized she was like all relaxed, and I told her, I said, "Honey, you did a real good job." I said, "Just take a deep breath and relax now." Well, when she took that deep breath, that's when the trouble started. That was the last. She quit breathing. She took that deep breath and stopped breathing.
Within 2 minutes, rescue units arrived on the scene, including firefighter Tim Lowry.
Okay, what happened? I knelt down beside her. Her teeth were clenched tight, and she wasn't breathing.
All right, let's roll her on her back, okay?
Her eyes were wide open. Her pupils were fixed and dilated, and I got really scared. I saw a little girl there who her future was staring her right in the eyes, and she wasn't looking back.
All right, let's get a cervical collar and get her immobilized a little bit, please.
We knew she had a closed head injury. One of the most important things is to keep a high oxygen concentration in the body when that happens, which was a real task. I had to displace her jaw to get her to breathe.
From what I had seen, I thought as soon as this man leaves go, she's going to be dead.
It took Nikki's mom, Rose Oliver, half an hour to get to the field.
When I saw Nicole's eyes, that's when I really thought that she wasn't going to live. And I think the thing that bothered me the most was the last thing that I saw with my husband passing away was his eyes rolling back. And all I could think of was that, God just couldn't do this twice to one person.
I said, "You'll see, everything's going to be okay." But I didn't think it was when I said that. How do you tell a mother, "I think your child's dead"?
I didn't even let Nikki go until Life Flight was ready to go. I even got in the helicopter with them. I backed in, still holding her jaw open and bagging her. They had to ask me to get out of the helicopter. I wanted to stay with her because I knew she needed help.
There was no room for Rose on the Life Flight helicopter, so she had to make the 40-mile trip by car.
I really thought she was not going to make it. I thought that by the time we would reach Allegheny General, that I would no longer have a daughter.
At the hospital, Nikki was first examined by trauma surgeon Daniel Diamond.
This is Nikki. Last pressure is 110.
The head scan will show us whether there is a collection of blood pressing on the brain. And in her case, there was not a collection of blood pressing on the brain.
I'm not going to be able to move right now.
Nikki's care was then transferred to neurosurgeon John Wilson.
Is this Nikki Oliver?
Yes.
She was struck in the head by a softball, is that right? Basically, what really this boils down to is a simple situation where the blow to the head caused a seizure. They were having difficulty maintaining an airway so that she could breathe normally. And that was the real serious life-threatening problem, were the complications that were caused by the seizure.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, Nikki. Hi, guys.
By the end of the second day, Nikki was well enough to be visited by her family and friends.
She was sitting up in her bed eating a popsicle, just got finished playing Nintendo. Less than 12 hours before I seen her, I thought she was dead. And there she was eating a green popsicle, telling me she never had a green popsicle before. And everything was fine after that.
I truly believe that there was a miracle where Nicole was concerned. I think that her dad was there with her through all of this. Since I do believe in miracles, I think that he created one.
It's been 2 months since the accident. Nikki Oliver's life is almost back to normal.
Nicole is getting stronger every day. She's on an anti-seizure medication, hopefully to be weaned off of that very shortly. The prognosis is excellent. She is going to be fine.
Come here. No?
No.
Get him, get him, get him. I'm thankful to people that helped me. Tim, he's like a big brother, and Jackie and Bernie and their daughter Sherry. I've been a lot closer to them now.
Nikki's just a magnetic kid. She draws everybody. She's very intelligent. She's very fun. She's awesome. She's a great kid. I love her to death. We'll be friends for a long time, I'm sure.
What are you doing? Is there any in my hair?
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.